today we've themed Relationships Matter. And what we're going to be talking about is the importance of brands building relationships, long-term relationships and meaningful relationships with their customers. We're specifically going to be talking about the importance of content and content marketing, as well as platforms like LinkedIn, and generally looking at the landscape as well to hopefully add value to what is increasingly becoming a complex vertical that is tech. So what's in store today? I'll be doing a very short intro, but just to give us a little bit of context, I'll be referring to the first cut of the research that we did last year. And then I'll be handing over. I'm very excited to have Kelly Kyer, who's the head of the tech vertical for LinkedIn globally, who's in town to take us through the research and really the Australian cut of the research, so very relevant to everyone in this room. It's one thing to hear about LinkedIn from LinkedIn, but it's another thing to hear it from our customers, and very, very happy to have two here today. David Nemes, who is the sales manager for LinkedIn across Australia and New Zealand. I think I've just promoted him. We'll be speaking with Peter Hitchen from IBM. And also Matt Barnett. Now, Peter has been in this for a long time, particularly au fait with insights and research, and we'll be talking to us not just about tech marketing in general, but also how insights shape marketing plans. And Matt Barnett, who works for Business Director for Cara Enterprise, again, been in the industry for a long time, although he does look very young. And he specialises in B2B, and in his division works very much in the tech industry. So, just to start, and a little bit of context around what is a very important vertical for us. In fact, it is the leading vertical for LinkedIn globally and as well in this country. We put a lot of effort behind it, a lot of resources and a lot of research. Not only research about our own platform, but just generally about tech marketing, really trying to add value to you as marketers and brands. We did the first cut of this research last year, and it came up with a few things that both validated what marketers were telling us, but also some insights that we didn't know about. And we followed that theme throughout today. Now, Kelly will be expanding on this through her talk. But one of the first things that came out of the research was the expanding base of people that you need to talk to when you're marketing your services and products. And we termed it the IT committee. And what it was, which showed us that no longer was it just the very senior people, the CIOs, CTOs and the IT directors in companies that were making these decisions or influencing it. It was a widening array of people. 45% of them were outside of the IT function. So functions like sales, like marketing, operations and finance, people that you really need to influence. It wasn't just the senior people either. It was managers and it was also individual contributors, so people that weren't leading teams that had great influence on who they were deciding in regards to tech services and products. And if you think about it, just in normal day-to-day business life, it's pretty logical. It's not one single person in an organisation that is making these decisions. They're drawing on the expertise of their entire company, and IT touches so many functions as well. So they're calling into a room, they're calling in people from sales, marketing, they're calling people from individual contributors up, they're asking them to do product demonstrations, they're asking them to go and visit vendors, they're asking them to go and look at expert advice and opinions self-served through, obviously, websites. And then they're coming back collectively and they're collectively making the decision. So influencing this widening array of people is very, very important. We also saw from the research and general research that it is becoming very complex. People in this category are 60% of the way through the buying cycle before they're making contact with any brands. Before they're picking up a phone, before they're entering their details in a lead form, before they're emailing, before they're seeing a sales rep, 60% of the way through. And the reason they're so far through before they're doing this is because information is so ubiquitous now. It is increasingly a self-serve world. They don't have to go and meet with people to get the information. They can get it online, they can get it through social, professional networks. They're getting it from an increasingly self-serve place. So influencing these people is important because they're adding vendors onto the list and they're also deleting them from the list without us even knowing about it. And the research also showed that when people are making tech decisions, they're making it from a short list of two. So you think how many people and competitive people are in that industry, 10, 20, 30? They have got a shortlist of 2, and 93% of the purchases was made from that shortlist. So getting on that shortlist was very, very important. The balance between long-term relationships to make sure you're on that shortlist and the short-term lead gen, the balance was absolutely critical. So how do you get onto that shortlist? Well, we're going to speak about this in detail today, both through Kelly's presentation and also the panel. But the way that we are seeing it more and more these days is through content marketing. It is the bridge that builds these relationships. And it's not surprising, you've probably read many stats that show that 70% of marketers globally say this is the leading tactic for them, in their marketing arsenal. And expenditure in content marketing is doubling every year and has done so for the last couple of years. Not only is content and content marketing evolving, changing, becoming easier, return on investment better, but content itself is changing. No longer is it in the hands of few editors who are making decisions about what information their readers and people online want to see. It's actually being shaped by data and technology. So you think of old school newspapers, a few editors, a handful working out what went on the front page. You think about websites a couple of years ago, a few editors really deciding what was of interest they thought to their users and readers. Now it is completely being shaped by data and technology. LinkedIn, for example, what I see in my feed is completely different to what you see in your feed. It's based on my profile information, my seniority, my function, my industry, how long I've been in the business. It's based on the groups I'm in, what I'm interested in, what influences I'm following, and also what my peers are sharing. It's constantly changing and evolving based on what I want to see and what is most relevant for me. So it is absolutely being shaped by data and technology. That's where LinkedIn really has evolved over the last couple of years and plays a massive part in not only content marketing, but marketing to many verticals, but particularly the tech one. Content now is 7 times higher engaged than jobs. We are the definitive content publishing platform for professionals. People are clicking on content 7 more times than they are for jobs. And that's why people are coming back every day to our site and are very, very actively engaged. Where does the content come from? It comes from a few key areas. Firstly, and probably most importantly, it comes from members themselves. So people sharing their own opinions, either writing posts or sharing articles that they've read, adding a little bit of value. Secondly, it comes from mainstream publishers, ZDNet, IDG, it comes from Mashable, the Wall Street Journal, Sydney Morning Herald, the Fin Review, 1.5 million publishers sharing their content on our platform. It also comes from influencers, a thing we've had going for a number of years now. Influencers that are writing long-form content exclusively for our platform, like Barack Obama, Bill Gates, Sir Richard Branson, Meg Whitman, Mike Smith, the CEO of ANZ Bank. People that are writing thought leadership for our platform and highly, highly engaged. Importantly though, it comes also from brands. We've now got 3.5 million company pages and content being distributed on the platform and engaged with very highly from all our members. On a professional network like LinkedIn, it's actually engaged with 37% higher and expected on our platform compared to social networks. People want to hear from brands and expect to hear from it. So how do we break down the content? We've done a lot of research into what people actually want to view and consume on our platform, and it sort of came into 3 areas. First and foremost, there was current affairs. When we say current affairs, it's really industry trends. What's happening in your sphere of your professional life and make you more productive and successful. Trends of the industry, category, or the interests that you're in that people are engaging with. Secondly, it was career info. Things on leadership, management, HR, and everything to do with your career and your professional brand. And thirdly, it came from updates on brands that I mentioned before, and very, very strong resonance from our member base to hear from brands. The content is one thing, and what we talk about a lot is it's not just the content that people have to think about, it's the context. Context is very, very important. So content is king. context is certainly queen, and equally as important. This is a chart that sort of illustrates the mindset of people on our network as well as other networks, and just goes to the whole context. This is trending content. This is a snapshot a couple of months ago. When we do it, it's fairly arbitrary. It pretty much stays the same. And it goes to the whole difference between a social and a professional network. Social networks are all about leaning back, really keeping up to date with family and friends, what's happening, and a lot of it's entertainment based. Things like Kim Kardashian, Josh Home, iHeart, 1D. And then you look at what's trending on LinkedIn, and it's very professional in nature. So leadership, iPad, cloud computing, real estate, business. So making sure you're delivering your content with the right context is extremely important. So we've seen that the landscape is changing. It's becoming very complex. The people that you need to influence is widening, and people are becoming self-serve. They're not asking you for advice, they're going seeking amongst themselves. So Kelly is going to talk to us in a second and really delve into this in a lot more detail and insights, not only about the research itself, but advice on how to engage with this very influential group of people.